My rich wife went bankrupt. And everyone thought I'd take the money and run, because I'm good looking but only care about cash. Every day I'd blow my rich wife's money on food, drinks, and fun, but I actually wanted to help her bounce back. When she does, even her pocket change would set me up for life. But who would have thought? Her bankruptcy was all fake? When I transmigrated into this novel, it was already the ending. The rich beauty was the villain defeated by the female lead. I still remember the last line about her. The only thing Shen Yuchu had left was the husband lying in the bedroom and her expensive watches and clothes. But Shen Yuchu knew this man who only cared about money and ignored her would soon take her watches and clothes and leave. She'd end up with nothing. I rubbed my temples, thinking about the now bankrupt rich wife, and let out a long sigh. Since getting married, Shen Yuchu had always treated me, the cannon fodder, pretty well. Now that I've become this cannon fodder, I feel bad taking the money and running when Shen Yuchu hit rock bottom. At least I should wait until she has her own income or business. That's only fair. After clearing my thoughts, I got up and started cleaning. The messy place. It took 3 whole hours to stuff everything into a corner of my room. The pile now reached the ceiling. Over 100 watches and more than 80 sets of clothes. Right now, I wish I could trade the clothes for watches, since watches are way easier to sell. I woke up at 2 p.m. and now it's already past 5. My stomach's growling. I checked the wallet on the coffee table and found my ID, bank card, and a few $100. I haven't even been in the kitchen. We just moved in a couple days ago, and neither of us can cook. The kitchen's definitely empty. I gotta find food myself. Good thing, the place Shen Yuchu rented is small, but the neighborhood's decent. There's a bunch of restaurants downstairs. I headed down and grabbed some noodles. Thinking about the barely there toiletries I saw in the bathroom, I hit up the supermarket and came back with a bag of daily essentials. I bought Shen Yuchu's share too, picking colors and styles based on what I remembered she liked. Back home, I started cleaning again. I opened the door to Shen Yuchu's room and found that besides the bookshelf and desk with some stuff, everything else was just a bed and a few necessities. I sighed helplessly. Must be tough for this woman who grew up rich and pampered to deal with this lifestyle now. Not much to clean in here anyway. I wiped down the desk, organized the documents, closed the door, and went back to the living room to keep cleaning. By the time the whole place was done, it was 10 p.m. I washed up feeling satisfied, set out some late-night snacks on the coffee table, and was ready to dig in. Just as I opened the wrapper and was about to take my first bite, I heard the door open. I looked up and locked eyes with a pair of autumn water-like eyes. Their owner stared at me expressionlessly, then casually glanced around the room. A flash of surprise crossed her eyes before they came back to me. I gave her a once-over at the same time. This woman was drop-dead gorgeous, totally living up to the author, using every beautiful word to describe her. Under Shen Yuchu's gaze, I unconsciously gripped my chopsticks tighter, feeling nervous. After all, I'm an imposter. Could someone like Shen Yuchu really not notice something's off with her husband? Her eyes made me feel like nothing could hide from her. Did you hire a cleaner? Do you have enough money? I shook my head instinctively. No, I cleaned it myself. You did? Shen Yuchu was clearly shocked. I took a deep breath and looked up. Yeah, I did it myself. Shen Yuchu stared at me, eyes full of disbelief. We locked eyes for a moment, and she looked away first. Do you have enough money? Yeah. You? I asked back out of habit, which made Shen Yuchu look at me in surprise again. Then she slowly said, enough. After that, we both went quiet. Shen Yuchu glanced at what I was eating and suddenly said, I'm sorry. I didn't react at first, then looked up to see where she was looking and quickly shook my head. No, you have nothing to apologize for. Shen Yuchu walked over and sat on the other sofa, carefully saying, the property issues are basically settled. All our assets and real estate have been seized, and there's not much left, but we're debt-free. You don't need to worry about debts. I have 30 grand left. Once this is all wrapped up, I'll start making money ASAP. You should have about 60 grand in your account. I've already paid 6 months rent for this place. If you want a divorce, I'll give you another 20 grand. And until you find a place, you can stay here. I knew Shen Yuchu was being incredibly generous to the cannon fodder. We only had 90 grand total. If we divorced, she'd even give me 80 grand and let me stay here. Plus the watches and clothes she probably wouldn't want. She'd only have a room and 10 grand left. But I didn't say anything. Shen Yuchu continued. Going forward, I'll give you part of what I earn each month. At least 3,000, okay? I don't know how things will go yet, so I can only promise this much for now. If I ever make a comeback, I'll make it up to you. I quickly shook my head. Shen Yuchu said nothing, going completely silent. I realized my gesture might have been misunderstood. So I quickly explained. No, I don't want a divorce, and I don't need your money. Don't worry, my money's enough. I've accepted reality. I'll be more careful with spending, and make my own money too. Don't put so much pressure on yourself. Regular people don't actually spend that much a month. You don't want a divorce, but yesterday you said, Shen Yuchu didn't expect me to say this. I just remembered. Yesterday the cannon fodder did angrily say they had to divorce. My face stiffened. I was drunk then. I didn't mean it. I've thought it through. I can't divorce you at a time like this. Since we're married, I'll take on life's responsibilities too. Don't worry about me. I can take care of myself, no problem. Maybe I can even take care of you. I looked up. Shen Yuchu gave me a weird look, but didn't say much. If you don't want a divorce, fine. Just let me know whenever you change your mind. Shen Yuchu got up and rubbed her temples, exhaustion showing in her eyes. She headed to the bathroom to wash up. I awkwardly kept eating. I heard Shen Yuchu pause for a few seconds after entering the bathroom, probably noticing how different it looked from before. Then the water started running. By the time I finished eating, Shen Yuchu came out all cleaned up. No awkward scene like I imagined. She was pretty covered up. With that stunning face, thanked me, and went to her bedroom. Before going in, she politely told me, "You should get some rest too." I scratched my head. This felt like a dream. I went over my thoughts again, then washed up too. Went back to my room, opened my laptop, and set up a personal shop on a secondhand marketplace before shutting down and sleeping. The next morning, I woke up at 6:30 out of habit. I got up, prepped the stuff I bought yesterday, put some porridge on to cook, then went downstairs to buy buns and fried dough sticks. When I got back, Shen Yuchu just opened her door. Hearing the door, she looked up and saw the breakfast in my hands, then rubbed her eyes, probably thinking she was seeing things. "Morning. I got breakfast," I said, holding up the buns and dough sticks. "And I made porridge. Go wash up." I headed to the kitchen to check on the porridge, ignoring Shen Yuchu's surprised. "Look, since we both stayed up late, I was worried we'd be low on energy, so I made red date and red bean porridge." The porridge was about done. I poured 2 bowls into the ceramic bowls I bought yesterday, put the buns and dough sticks on plates, boiled some eggs, and prepped some side dishes. When Shen Yuchu came out of the bathroom, she saw a pretty decent spread on the table. The scene should have been heartwarming, but Shen Yuchu didn't feel that way at all. She knew her own husband, married for almost 3 years. He'd never shown any talent for housework or cooking. The only thing he could do was shop. Even the background check before marriage didn't mention he could do this stuff. Was he faking it all along? The suspicion in Shen Yuchu's eyes was too obvious. I threw out the excuse I came up with last night. We used to have maids and housekeepers, so I never did anything. Now it's just the 2 of us, and we don't have much money. Can't keep eating out all the time. My cooking's not amazing, but it's decent enough. If you don't mind, you can eat at home from now on. So when Grandpa asked if you could cook, you were lying? Shen Yuchu sat across from me. After saying that, she grabbed a spoon and took a sip of porridge. I froze. "Oh, that happened?" I laughed it off. "My skills can't compare to the housekeepers." Back then, thinking Grandpa only ate fancy food, I was too embarrassed to show off. That excuse barely worked. Shen Yuchu nodded. "Actually, it tastes pretty good." Shen Yuchu drank the porridge quickly, but only ate 1 bun and 1 dough stick. Watching her eat so elegantly, I realized making a woman who grew up eating gourmet food eat street food was really pushing it. After breakfast, Shen Yuchu wanted to help bring stuff to the kitchen. "No worries. I'll handle it. I can wash dishes. Go do whatever you need to do." Shen Yuchu put down her utensils. "I'm not done handling the business stuff. I'll probably be back tonight. Don't worry about me. Call me if anything comes up. All right, go do your thing." Once Shen Yuchu left, I finally relaxed. Even though this woman tried to tone down her presence, her elegance was impossible to hide. That subtle, intimidating aura was always there. If I hadn't dealt with people like this before, I'd be struggling right now. I had a lot to do today. Not just getting more stuff for the place, but also photographing the watches and clothes to sell online. With all that stuff, selling everything could bring in over $1 million. Shen Yuchu would have startup capital for whatever she wanted to do. Plus, I needed to research web novels in this world and consider getting back into my old line of work. Yeah, I'm a web novelist, majored in interior design in college, but after graduating didn't want to make it my main job. So I just wrote ad copy, did freelance design work for side cash, and occasionally wrote promotional materials and stuff. Basically had multiple income streams. Life was pretty good. After washing the dishes, I grabbed my shopping list and headed out. I'm not really into shopping. Bought what I needed and came right back to set things up, then started photographing the watches and clothes.